think David Young is looking forward to this matchup as much as the returning Barry Bull Buchanan. These are two products of the Wildside system from two different Wildside eras. But interestingly enough, what they do share in common, in the year 1999, there was a matchup between David Young and Bull Buchanan.
Yes, there was. And David Young, the Messiah of the Spinebuster, making his return to the NWA arena. Bull Buchanan also making his return after a very extended absence in that matchup you spoke about, Stephen. Bull Buchanan, of course, seen in the World Wrestling Federation for several years. He's a Wildside alumni when he left to sign his World Wrestling Federation contract. He's appeared under different many monikers. He's a former WWE Tag Team Champion of the World. And he's one of the most agile big men in wrestling. I put him right there with Hot Stuff Hernandez in terms of agility. Bull Buchanan has been and is in many ways the patriarch of agile big men in professional wrestling. Of course, he has that devastating guillotine leg drop from the top rope, which is a sight to behold for a man his size. Buchanan standing at 6'8", 275 rock solid pounds.
I think he qualifies as a big boy. And in the dawning of his career, and it's really both David Young as well as Bull Buchanan started off in the North Georgia Wrestling Alliance, as I did, as well as a number of the people here in the Wildside locker room. Back then, Bull Buchanan was Sunset Sam McGraw.
He's known as the Punisher here at the very first Hardcore Hell in 1997, where he was involved in the main event. He ended up powerbombing Venom with the help of Jeff Hardy, taking him through 2 tables, allowing Matt Hardy to become the NCW Heavyweight Champion at Hardcore Hell 1997. Buchanan has Young backed into the corner.
A show of respect from Bull Buchanan towards David Young. It's interesting to me, Young seems to be about a good half a head shorter than Buchanan is, which could put most people at a disadvantage, unless, of course, you're the Messiah of the Spinebuster.
David Young, the gutsiest individual I have ever had the pleasure of meeting in my tenure in professional wrestling, and that says a lot. David Young, good grief. He was just barreled through by that Bull Buchanan shoulder tackle.
A charging shoulder, considering the size of the shoulders of Buchanan, I think it would knock over most human beings, perhaps even some small farm equipment. The power of Bull Buchanan quite evident here at Hardcore Hell 2003. In a rematch from Hardcore Hell 1999. How unusual. Interestingly, we saw in the first half of Hardcore Hell another rematch from 1999 with AJ Styles and Ron the Truth Killings. Back then, of course, he was K-Crush. It was great to revisit that one, and that was one of my favorite matches from this year at Hardcore Hell.
Indeed, it was. What an outing that was. And now tonight, David Young, the Messiah of the Spinebuster, against Bull Buchanan. What a forearm shot. David Young fires back with rapid-fire kicks. Of course, David Young been competing on pay-per-view, both in the United States and in Japan for the 0-1 promotion. He's been traveling all across the country, competing in several wrestling organizations. He's decided to take a little time away from NWA Wildside. That doesn't mean he's going to abandon his home, and certainly David Young recognizes how much he did accomplish here in NWA Wildside and wants to keep continuing those accomplishments here in the rings of NWA Wildside. Fans, Young may be on a brief hiatus from time to time, but this guy has more love and respect for this company than just about anybody back there, and that puts him in an elite category. There are a group of individuals that helped build this company from the ground up. David Young is one of those, and there's several other of those back there in the back. Bull Buchanan's another one that in the most premature stages of national championship wrestling was a standout superstar and one of the most hated athletes and popular at a different time. Big neck breaker there by Bull Buchanan.
And David Young, and not so much, I'll sort of hear a demand that NWA Wildside, as you mentioned, sort of was 0-1 and NWA TNA Also, our good friends over at Ring of Honor requesting the talents of the Messiah of the Spine Buster sometime at the end of April, which is about when a lot of people watch the new episodes of NWA Wildside.
Probably correct. Big suplex there by Buchanan. He hangs on.
Hoping for a series of them, apparently.
Buchanan wrestles a methodical and powerful style. Three suplexes consecutively, hooks the leg. David Young manages to kick out. And I will never forget the first time that I witnessed Bull Buchanan in action. It was back in 1993-94 for Smoky Mountain Wrestling when I saw Jim Cornette debut him sitting on my couch at home as the Punisher there.
Buchanan has definitely trolled the roads of the United States of America, wrestling in a variety of wrestling promotions, and one of the truly a really gifted guy.
Bull Buchanan, most recently known as B2 in the World Wrestling Entertainment. Saw him out at ringside with John Cena wrestling in tag matches on WWE SmackDown. Buchanan just said he wasn't having any fun anymore, and with the recent rash of cuts in World Wrestling Entertainment, Bull Buchanan was one athlete that actually asked for his release. He wanted to pursue wrestling again. He wanted to find out what made him love the sport, and it was wrestling the way he wanted to, being able to showcase his true abilities that he was often told he could not within the politics of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Frankly, there are politics wherever you go, even to a somewhat of a degree here at Wildside, although we keep it to a minimum, happily. But still, that's unadulterated, pure professional wrestling is something that's genuinely rare. It's great seeing certain organizations like Wildside and Ring of Honor and CZW and IWA and...
Don't forget our friends at Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Certainly. And Heartland still kicking around. And another wrestling organization, certainly in Japan and in Mexico, as well as England.
Pro wrestling's still very alive in the United States. You may just have to look a little bit harder to find it if you're a casual fan.
But it's worth the effort.
Bull Buchanan with those powerful arms wrapped around the skull of David Young, cutting off the blood flow. So Young managing to find something within him to power out of this hole here.
Yeah, Young did not make it here to hardcore hell to lose, even to an old friend like Bull Buchanan.
Reversal, boot to the face by Young. Big power slam by Bull Buchanan.
But Buchanan is like so tall that a power slam, you're covering up some serious yardage.
It was in last year's Hardcore Hell that David Young won the Wildside Heavyweight Championship by spine bustering Rick Michaels through a table, defeating Michaels and AJ Styles in a three-way dance. Look at David Young firing back on Buchanan.
And Young is firing non-stop. Big volleys to the bald head of the former B squared.
Big drop kick by David Young.
He didn't yell booyah at you, did he?
I hope to God not.
That's good.
Spinning head scissors by the Messiah of the Spine Buster.
A genuinely even affair between these two Wildside mainstays of seemingly two different eras.
Buchanan, a headliner in the most early days of NCW. David Young, a headliner now in NWA Wildside. Had a peak run in 2002 as the most popular athlete Wildside had to offer.
Look at Buchanan, look at that!
What agility by Barry Bull Buchanan. Coming off here, there's the Spine Buster!
And out of the clear blue sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, the Messiah of the Spine Buster, David